SITC fam. If you like what you're hearing, don't forget to rate us 5 stars on any podcast platform. Leave us a review wherever you can. And don't forget to subscribe to LL Giselle on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and find us on Facebook at Sonographers in the Cities.
Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Sonographers in the Cities. I'm Lynn.
And I'm Giselle.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this very special episode.
Yes, guys, welcome to another episode of Sonographers of the Cities. And we have a very special guest today. We have Sam Callis on. She's a sonographer, and I'm just so excited for you guys to hear everything that she's done in her career and what she continues to do. She has, first of all, written a book, and I think that you guys all need to get your hands on this, especially for all of our student listeners out there. But I can't wait to have her tell us all about it and her story. So, everybody, welcome Sam.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Thank you so much for coming on. I know it's so hard to get all three of us on here. This has actually been months and months and months of planning. So finally, we have you on, and I'm so happy that you're here. So let's tell everybody a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name, like you said, Sam Callis. I am first and foremost and always a sonographer. I've kind of worked in different areas throughout my career the past several years. So I was a full-time clinician for a handful of years, and then started teaching like Lynn pretty shortly after I entered the workforce. I actually started teaching the year after I graduated, and I've heard Lynn kind of speak to this a couple times, and you have that moment of like, well, what business do I have teaching,
Right.
you know? And I had to trust that the person that asked me to do it saw something in me that maybe I didn't see in myself then. And I actually had a really hard time during my first year of my ultrasound program learning how to actually scan. And I think that all of the hurdles that I went to in learning the skill portion of the technique of actually scanning made me a really good communicator for it, which is why I think that I ended up kind of getting into teaching. So I knew pretty early on that teaching was something that I wanted to do, whether that was as a clinical instructor or as a full-time teacher. I wasn't really sure. So I started working on my master's pretty shortly after I was in my ultrasound program, and knew that if I wanted to teach in college, I wanted to have some type of master's degree, and I decided to do my MHA at my alma mater, same place that I did my undergraduate degrees, the University of Southern Indiana in Evansville. Go Screagles, if anyone's from the area. And I decided that teaching was something that I absolutely loved. I started out doing that as kind of my side job that I would do when I wasn't scanning. So very, very similar place in life where you're scanning most days of the week and teaching maybe 1 to 2 days a week. And after about 7 years of doing that, I started teaching full time as well as being in a clinical coordinator position. So that was kind of my dream job, or what I thought would be my dream role in the sonography world. I didn't think that there was anything else I wanted to do in life other than teach full time. And after a few years of that, kind of was going through a lot of big life changes, as many of us were in the years of 2020 and 2021, and decided that I wanted to step into the industry side of things. So then I became an application specialist with an ultrasound vendor. And that kind of opened my eyes to this whole career trajectory for people that have a sonography background. And I've stayed in industry ever since. And now I work at a heart valve company working on clinical development of heart valves. So it seems like kind of a far reach maybe from where I started, but still very, very relevant. I use what I've learned every single day. Maybe it's a little more corporate these days, but very much still enjoy it and love whenever I get to go into cases and be with patients and be in hospitals. So that's kind of the 30-second view of all of it, but you're free to pick at it and ask about anything you want in there.
That's amazing.
That's
Oh
so
my God.
fascinating.
Thank
Like
you.
you started from ultrasound and now very, I don't know, not ultrasound, but then also still ultrasound.
Yeah,
Like, oh,
no,
that's
it's
so cool.
exactly. And it's funny you say that because I currently I one of the employees that I help to manage at my company is it's part of a rotational program that we've started for early career echocardiographers that are wanting
Mhm.
to get into the industry. And I had a meeting that I had to go to the other day, and I was like, "Come on, you can come with me." And we were sitting there, and she was looking at me, and she was listening to what everyone was talking about, and she was like, "Why are you here?" It's like respectfully, she was like, "What does this have to do with echo, with ultrasound or whatever?" And I typed back over on my computer so that I wouldn't be speaking during the meeting. I said, "Because a lot of my job doesn't have to do with ultrasound anymore." And it's a really weird kind of change and transition, but it's been super exciting for me. I've been in ultrasound now for over 10 years, and it was like the perfect timing for me to kind of transition my career into a little bit of a different sector. So still very relevant, but yeah, I think that a lot. I'm like, how did I get here?
That's
What
so
happened to my
cool.
scrubs every day, you know?
Well, honestly, I mean, just from me personally speaking, like that is very inspirational, motivational. We on this podcast always talk about how you don't just have to do ultrasound as a
Mhm.
sonographer. And a lot of people always ask, "Oh, is there anything else I can do?" And you are clear proof that there's so much more to the title of being a sonographer and being in the medical field. And
Yeah.
with all the stuff that you've been saying, I actually was going to ask you about your credentials because you do have lots of letters after your name.
Yep.
So that's really cool.
The ultrasound program that I went to was a 4-year bachelor's degree. So I learned general ultrasound my first year and adult echo my senior year. So that was what I specialized in. So I was really fortunate that I was able to sit for abdomen, OB, and adult echo before I graduated. Like those were all, yeah, taken care of whenever I walked across that stage. I was already working somewhere, and it was an amazing setup. So I would just like to say and start out that that was a very quick start to the career, right? You come out with a lot of varied experience in multiple areas, and I knew that I loved cardiac ultrasound. That was my favorite thing to learn, what I wanted to learn, what I always thought would be the coolest thing to do. And I also really love doing OBGYN. So I kind of landed in more of a maternal fetal medicine high risk OB type role. And with that kind of comes fetal echo. And once you get the congenital echo kind of bug, then you'll start wanting to do peds echo. And then maybe a few more years goes by and you're like, what else do I want to do? And I always wanted to learn vascular because my cousin's a vascular sonographer, and that was kind of the last major area that I really wanted to study and learn because if you like cardiac, I think you like vascular. If you like vascular, I think you like cardiac. And I think sometimes people are like, no way, I'd only want to do this one or that one, but they're both really cool specialties. I just love ultrasound.
So how did you choose ultrasound?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. So my cousin Angie is a sonographer, and I remember I was in high school and I was like, "Great, what am I gonna do with my life?" And I was very much in that moody senior year time of life where I was like, I don't know, I really like science. I want to help some people, I guess, and I'd love to wear scrubs every day. And she had started her career a few years prior, and I just went to observe with her one day at the hospital. And I walked into the room. Her coworkers were like, "Oh yeah, she's in there with the patient. You can go on in." And she was doing arterial Doppler, and the patient was missing a few toes, and I was like, "I'm hooked," which is funny because vascular is the last thing that I
Yeah.
learned to do. Um, Once I saw an echo, I was completely struck by cardiac ultrasound. That's what all students say. Oh my gosh, the heart's so cool, it's beating. I just want to scan hearts all day forever. And I was definitely one of those.
That's so cool, especially because you got to have that time to go look and see before you could even know what it was.
Yeah, and that was actually one really cool thing about my program. And they actually made us do observation hours before we interviewed because it
Mm.
was really important to them that we understood kind of what we were getting ourselves into. And you had to declare a specialty, when you're a senior, if you want, would you rather do cardiac or vascular? So you needed to get out there and do some research and figure it out before you applied. And I think that was like one of the best things about my application process and where I went to school. And kind of honestly, it has a lot of what to do with what's ended up in the book that I wrote, trying to get people prepared for entering into this career.
That's awesome.
So you've talked about your career, like how you started as a sonographer and then you became an educator, and then now you're in, what would you
I
call
just say industry.
industry, in the
Yeah.
industry. My next question would be, what in those three um roles, what would be the most challenging thing if you like can share with each of those roles, because I'm sure a lot of our listeners are students and they'll be interested in all three aspects of the careers, the most challenging and the best of those
Those
three
are
roles.
those are such good questions. Yeah. Let's start with the challenges first. We get in with all the positives. So the most challenging thing I think as someone who is a day in, day out scanning full-time stenographer is the work is heavy and it comes home with you. And I think that when I was in that time and place in life, I don't think I really appreciated and gave myself the resources and space that I needed to kind of decompress from some of the work that I was doing, especially in high risk obstetrics. It's a lot of really sad stuff all day, every day, and very busy units, and that was tough, like very, very challenging. And then for teaching, I think that the greatest challenge is uh, making sure that your students have a really great learning experience, but also balancing of that tough love for them. I've talked to some of my students after the fact, and they're like, "You're such a hard teacher." And I was like, "Man, I really didn't think I was maybe not that hard, but I guess I was. I don't know." Um, but then they'll also come back and say, "But I'm really glad that you pushed me to sit for that abdomen board because I needed it for this job I applied for, and I really didn't think I'd ever use it." And I think that's kind of a rewarding portion of that challenge. The most challenging, I think, about what I do now is that I am kind of like being a sonographer in the company in the industry that I work in now, that you're the minority person in the room. I work with mostly research and development engineers. Biomedical engineering is kind of the bread and butter of my everyday. So I've had to learn to speak a whole different language and lingo. They don't know mine, I don't know theirs. We all have acronyms. They're all the same letters and they mean very different things. I went from CAD meaning, coronary artery disease to it meaning computer aided design. It's very, very different worlds. But I say often, I've not been bored a day in my life since I started the role that I'm in now almost 2 years ago, and absolutely love it. So, as far as what's most rewarding, and I think that you guys can definitely attest to this, as being a sonographer is like knowing when you got that near miss, you're like, oh, I caught that. I found that first. Like that feeling is the best feeling in the world. And I think it tops most other things, no matter what your career in. There's nothing quite like literally seeing how you are saving somebody's life. And that's a feeling you can never forget or take for granted for sure. It's probably why we put up with all the craziness that we do of working in healthcare. It's to serve patients. The absolute best thing about teaching, in my opinion, is seeing the text or the calls or the names light up on your phone when someone's calling you to tell you that they passed a registry exam or that they just got hired somewhere or that they are starting a new job and it's the dream job that they've always wanted. I mean, that was the stuff that I absolutely lived for. The spring when our students would graduate was my just most happy time of the year because that's when you see people's lives really just moving forward, and all of the sacrifice and tears and time over the past couple of years that they've been in their program is finally worth it to them. The last thing in industry, the most rewarding thing about what I do now is the same thing. I get to help patients. And I really do feel like I have such a close hand still in patient care, in just a very different way, and bringing devices to the market that haven't existed before to treat disease that we've been scanning day in and day out on people. It's a very, very rewarding line of work.
That's amazing. That's all great advice, and everything that you spoke about, I really could relate to on both ends, the challenges and the rewards. It's very difficult being a healthcare professional, and not only that, being somebody who's going to teach the future healthcare professionals. So really, thank you for all that you do and all that you've done, because that's a lot of
Right
work.
back at you.
So we're gonna kind of shift gears a little bit, just because I'm curious about how you came about creating your book, and if you wanted to share a little bit about it, what it's all about for our students who listen, because I feel like they could really, really use this book.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy how this all started. So first of all, I got to give her a big shout out because none of this book project would have ever existed or been completed if it wasn't for the editor. Her name's Wendy Finello, and she is truly the reason that it even started or got completed. I'll put it that way. I was certainly not the reason things were getting done at one point in time. So back a long time ago, several years ago, I was interviewed by a website, Ultrasound Schools Info, and they do these really cool interviews with sonographers. They have this scholarship program, and just kind of got into contact with them. And they've asked me to write some articles from time to time, for students and just about career stuff. And it kind of morphed into this idea of like, what if we made like a how-to guide for this? Because we get the same questions over and over from students all the time, or students that are interested in doing this is, how do you even do this? Nobody really knows where to start. And I definitely felt like I could empathize with that. I was like, cool, my cousin does ultrasound. I'm going to do ultrasound. Where can I do that? Like, how do you know what's a good program or what you should even study? When you start out, it's like, oh, what do you want to specialize in? You're like, I didn't even know there were specialties. I don't even know what this is. Are they nurses? Are they, something else? And felt like there just needed to be a really clear, concise path for understanding for people that are interested in maybe health professions, but not necessarily nursing or medical school, and just kind of put us out there a little bit. We're a little short staffed. We need more people. And if they don't know we exist, how are we going to get them? So that's kind of where the idea of it all started. And we started out originally with a really short ebook and then decided it needs to be on paper. If students are going to be interacting with this, I know that they're not allowed to have their cell phones out at clinical. They need something that they can actually touch and hold and write on. And so now we've worked on this second edition, which is more of like a very involved workbook type thing. Yes, there it is, live and in the flesh. I can't believe it exists. Like I said, thank God for Wendy.
Yeah. So if you guys are watching the YouTube, we have it on the screen. Well, our little blurry backgrounds here.
Yeah,
But
you get the vibe.
you get it.
Can
and
I
here
say,
it
like,
is.
I love this page, by the way? Can you see? Oh, wait, hold on.
You
Where
gotta
did-
unblur you.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, there they all are.
Here.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love this. Hold on. There's another one too.
That's
It's like how to
my favorite
use this.
too.
You
All the
you get to
blind
be
sectors.
so creative and draw stuff.
How many times did you have to draw the ultrasound sector when you were in school? No less than 450,000 times, right?
Right. No, it's an
It was-
amazing
It was
tool.
my class assignments to draw in color.
Yeah, I love that
Wait,
page.
hold on.
It's a fun one.
Just come closer. Oh, never mind.
No, never
I don't
mind.
know.
Hold on.
You have to unblur
It
yourself.
was unblurred before.
Look, I respect how brave you all are to unblur your backgrounds. I'm like, there is nothing but laundry behind me. It's not happening.
I can unblur mine, but you can see my espresso machine, and there's a bunch of wine.
Yes,
Just a
wine
couple
wine
bottles.
down.
I'm just hiding the reality afterward.
Full transparency today. Full transparency. We need some wine every now and then. It's fine.
Oh, we live for the real raw.
That's right.
What's the other
Yes.
art?
The
that we
real
say?
raw and I don't know, real stuff, raw.
Nothing but
I
real.
know, there's something else.
Reality,
We
I
don't
don't know.
remember.
Real raw and Instagram reels, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know.
But we are just like, this is the coolest thing. And I think that any student, if you're like looking into going into sonography, you need to get your hands on one of these books. So where can they get one?
Yeah, so that's a fantastic question. So the ebook is still available online through Amazon, but this physical version is actually going to be print on demand through something called Lulu. So we have a website that will be going live soon, hopefully in the next couple weeks, to where that'll give you a link where you can drop and go and purchase it. And I think that we are pricing it around like $35. So it's well, compared to textbooks, it's certainly more inexpensive, but hopefully it's something that stays with you throughout the first, like, 5 years realistically of a career. Because it even goes into like, how do you choose your school? How do you get certified? How do you maintain certification? And then how do you explore even beyond ultrasound? So I think that there's something for everyone, and it'll hopefully hang around for a bit. Maybe it collects dust every now and then it comes back out.
No, it really has golden stuff in it, and it's a very easy to read, and it helps even beyond school. Lynn's got
Can I
something to
just say
say.
my also like I don't write journals, but I love journals. But this is like a journal. Like
We are the
whoever
same
likes to
person.
write things, like this is where you put your thoughts. So it helps you mentally to
Mhm.
write things. There's a paragraph or page that says, what traits do I have that would make me a good sonographer? And you get a whole page to write that down.
Yep. And it's
Yes.
all
I love it.
by design, and hopefully geared for people that, well, number one, I think the most important thing is we have really small programs. We don't want to take people into programs that find out a year into it that they're like, this is not it for me. Like, we need to figure that out before people get into ultrasound programs. Because, like I've said, the staffing thing is crazy, and we've got to do something about it. Our hospitals and patients need us to,
Right.
get through these programs and get on out there. But it hopefully too that it helps students kind of prepare for whatever applications process they go through. Every school is so different. Some people you have to interview with, some people you have to write for, but most of the places it's usually a selective admissions process, and they've got to kind of know, why would I be good at this? And that kind of starts with, well, first you have to understand what we do, and what about you works for the profession. And like I said, I just kind of went back and I was like, if I could go back and have somebody give me the cheat codes to all of this, like, what would they do? And that's what I tried to put in here because we need it.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yes, we do.
It's a perfect little tool, and it'll help all of us that are out here on social media trying to help bring ultrasound awareness
Exactly.
to the students, to the people in the community. And yeah, it's really appreciative because there's not a lot of stuff.
It's
There's not a lot.
amazing what is happening on social media with ultrasound and ultrasound education. I have a really good friend that she owns a company, Viable Solutions. Her name's Megan Mead, and she's just like taken off with doing educational content. And it's not my thing. I love to watch it. I am very in it. I live for watching you guys. I would never do it. I get distracted too easy. It's too short. I don't know. But yeah, I hope that maybe this will be a good supplement, and that it'll be a super helpful tool for programs that have like introductory classes, your patient care classes, things like that, your seminar classes for when you're getting ready to graduate. I can see it in so many different little corners of our world, and I can't wait to get it out there.
Lynn made a face. I think she had something to say.
Because when you were saying about that, I was like, this would be an amazing book in all the high schools. Because they
Mhm.
always have like, those medical careers. And I just,
Exactly.
whoever listening, if you work in a high school, this is the book to add to your library.
Definitely. Yeah, I thought too, I was like, even like guidance counselors, it's like people come to you and say, cool, I want to work in healthcare. What are my options? Everyone's like, doctor, nurse,
Right.
or doctor or nurse,
Mhm.
but there's a whole
There's
pile of
ways to
allied
get
health
more.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just one of many. We got our friends in respiratory, people in OT and physical therapy, and just
Hmm.
goes on and on. So, um, starting to hopefully get some awareness out there for our profession because it's pretty great.
Oh yeah, and I love
And
it
that's
too
why we're
because
here.
yeah, that's we are all in our own journeys and we're all doing our different things for, sharing and spreading to the communities. And this is really cool. And your friend, Bible Solutions, I've seen her on social media. She does a
Hmm.
lot of great stuff. And I am looking at you both, Lynn and Sam, and then everybody else who also teaches as inspiration and motivation because that's like one day something that I'm hoping to do and be able to do. I feel like I have that imposter syndrome where it's like, you know what you're doing, but
Everybody
it's
does.
like, can
Yeah.
I really teach
So
somebody?
so have it.
Here, exactly. And let
Yeah.
me tell you what, it's so cool because now one of my best friends in the world has the job that I had at the university that I taught
Mhm.
at. We both went through the same program, the same year in our, same year together. And, we were kind of talking about that when she was starting. I'm like, it's going to make you question everything, but like it makes you examine all of the content that you know and that you learn in such a different way. And there is nothing wrong with being like, I have no idea. Because when I say students will have the most off the wall questions, and you're just like, I don't even know what you just asked me, but like, let me get back to you. That is always an appropriate answer.
Okay, that's like my fears.
Always.
Like, I don't know how to answer that.
You could ask me questions about this book that I wrote, and I would have to look in the book to get the answers. Like, I mean, we're allowed to cheat every now and then.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are inspirational, and I feel like educators are so important because
Very.
how else are we going to know anything? Educators are really, really important to this field and to the career. And I always say, like, the sonographer that you become is because of the person who teaches you and the people who teach you and the things that you're learning.
So
Um,
true.
it really is a big difference. So thank you guys for what you do. And we only have a little bit of time left with you, but there's a couple things I'm curious about before we leave. Um, like one would be your current job now and clinical applications, because we didn't really dive into that.
Hmm.
But are those things that you would suggest to people? Like who would you suggest would be good for those types of jobs
Yeah.
or careers?
So kind of two different buckets. So clinical applications for like an ultrasound vendor company, say like GE or Philips or Samsung. I think that the people that are perfect for those jobs are the people that are always playing DJ, the ones that want to know every single button on the machine. They want to know what every single little thing does, and they like it a certain way because that's what a lot of that job is just customizing machines to customers' preferences and making that workflow perfection for them. And some people are just innately born to do that. They're like, yes, I live for this. I want to make this preset. I want to change the annotations to go on this order on the touch screen. And I think that someone that has that kind of attention to detail and that kind of zest for that is fantastic for that job. The role that I work in now, in a clinical development role, I think that those people that are out there that are kind of jacks of all trades are really great for. Like me, I've scanned a lot of different specialty areas. I've done some research, I've done some teaching. It's like, cool, okay, but like, what are you really good at? And I think that that is what I'm really good at, is being good at a lot of little things. And that makes you very useful in the industry when you're working what we call cross-functionally, meaning with other teams that have jobs very different from you. And I think I finally found my niche in this world and happy to be there. So, those things are kind of things that ring out for anyone. Expand your network, go find people on LinkedIn. It does still exist. I know all the cool people are on Instagram, but the old wise people are also on LinkedIn. So
LinkedIn's a great resource. I've met when I was going through questioning going to do clinical application specialist, like
Mhm.
I met a bunch of people on LinkedIn that do it and love it.
Yeah.
And
I
then I'm like, wow.
I'm so glad you said that because that's something that I forget too, is that I take for granted now that I'm in industry. I forget to remind people that do ultrasound. They're like, that just seems really impossible to get into. And once you're here, you're like, there's a lot of people that do ultrasound in the industry. And you're like, wait, what? You have that job now? You have this job? Like it goes on so much deeper than you even think it does. You just got to really kind of figure out number one, is it the right time and place to even move into that? Because some people don't ever want to do that. Some people want to scan patients forever, and that's totally fine. But number two, like, is it the good spot in your life to have a job that makes you travel 3 weeks out of the month or something like that, And yeah, there's tons of people that do it though. So don't be shy, everybody, reach out, continue your network always.
That's honestly something I think I needed to hear. So I
Your
think
boss is going to come for me.
oh, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. But I feel like this has been such a great episode. I hope that everybody who's been listening has taken something or one little tidbit here and there. But I know it's a very, very good episode, and I hope that a lot of people listen to it. We appreciate you for coming on and spending time with us. I know you have a very, very busy schedule. Our last question would typically be what's some advice that you give to our listeners?
Ooh. Well, especially you've got a really good crew. I feel like a lot of people that are newer to the profession is get comfy being uncomfortable and just like
Ooh.
watch the magic unfold. Truly. Like if you're comfortable, you're probably gonna be maybe a little complacent in your career, but like if you are okay with not being the smartest person in every room every now and then, like you're gonna learn a lot. I mean, I'm uncomfortable every day of my career still because I'm like, wow, okay, should I be here? And it's that imposter syndrome thing. But I think it's less about feeling like an imposter and knowing like, yeah, there's a reason why we're here. Like sometimes I work with people and they're like, the people at this company, they're so smart. And I stop them right there and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. We're all work here for a different reason. We're all smart and we all have something to offer. And there's room for all of us at the table, truly. So those that are brave and okay with being a little uncomfortable, just watch the magic unfold. Truly.
That's an awesome advice. I really like that.
It doesn't feel great all the time, but
being
it works.
Yes, being comfortable. What's it? Being comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable.
Oxymoron. I like
Yeah,
it.
I do
Because
Will
too.
grow.
that means that you have room to grow.
Exactly.
Yes,
I
and
love it.
there's no I've heard that there's no growth in your comfort zone. So
There's not,
Yes.
unfortunately. I
it's
mean,
yeah, and in this career, I think people need to understand that there is going to be learning every single day.
Mhm.
I think the number one thing that students ask us is like, when is the confidence going to come? When did your confidence come? And I'll be honest, and I'm like, I'm still not confident in a lot of stuff. So,
exactly.
but
But the
it is what it is.
confidence is being willing to say that in
Yes.
front of them.
Yeah, that's true. And there's a lot that I have in myself to work on, even though I've been doing this for 7 years now. And I
Mhm.
think going on many years, I'll still have so much to learn. And I think that's the beauty of this career.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we appreciate you
Ooh.
so much.
Thank you all for having me. It was so
Yeah.
great
Thank
to
you for coming on.
meet you guys like in this way. It's so weird. I'm like, wow, I feel like I already know them, but now I actually do.
No, it's so cool. And I honestly, I've seen your name on a lot of things like in like on the internet and on those pages. I know you mentioned the ultrasound schools info. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you are out there. So it's really cool to meet you finally and to get to know you a little bit more. And hopefully we can get you on a future episode when you're not so
Yeah.
busy again. And when we're
Hopefully,
also,
maybe next book.
Exactly.
yeah, when we get the third edition to your book.
Yeah, third edition.
Oh my gosh. I did say something the other day. I was like, so what happens? Like the second's done. We just start selling this. Like, when do we stop worrying about it? And I was like, we don't ever stop worrying about it, do we? I was like, oh no.
No, it's a forever thing, but it's really cool because it's needed and we appreciate
Yeah.
it. And can't wait to share it with everybody. So we're waiting for that link whenever it comes by, but we'll
Yes.
get it to you guys as soon as we get it. So thank you so much. We hope you have a wonderful rest of your April and year because, oh my gosh, the year is going by so fast.
It really is. Thank you all so much for having me. This has been amazing.
Yes, thank you for coming
Thank
on.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for connecting through sounds with us. We appreciate you and can't wait to connect with you again next time.